Welcome. My name is Lumina and I'm going to lead us through a 20-minute or so video to just help you kind of unwinding, finding some joint release and settling the mind into the body, into the presence of sensations in the body and exploring the breath. So we'll start lying down in constructive rest. So coming onto the back body, we'll keep the knees bent, the feet nice and wide apart. So lying back, have the toes pointing in. Allow the knees to touch, so the knees supporting each other and the hands can just rest on the belly. Closing the eyes. Taking a deep inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. 2 more rounds. Really listening to the exhalation, a long sigh or a nice little yawn. And then close the mouth. And count to yourself 5 or 6 counts on your in-breath and the same number of counts for the outgoing breath. As the breath becomes balanced, we feel the mind's eye start to move from the head space and into the body. Noticing the rising and the falling of the chest. And maybe even the rising and the falling of the belly. Allowing the skin of the face to soften, the jaw to soften, the lips, the cheeks, the space around the eyes and across the forehead, the whole of the face and the head just softening. As you feel the weight of the back of the skull settled into the ground. Maybe even noticing the movement of the breath in the throat. So a slight swirling, constriction in the base of the throat, your ujjayi breath. Or just continuing to count those counts going in and counts coming out. The breath is still balanced. As you scan the mind's eye across the shoulders, down the arms, feeling the warmth, the weight of the hands resting on the belly, rising and falling with that balanced breath. Just noticing how it is across the chest and down the sides of the waist, down the natural curves of the spine, leading your awareness towards the pelvis. And from the pelvis, down the thighs, the inner groins to the knees, and the shins, the ankles and the feet. whole body resting, breathing. And feeling how that balanced breath is being received through the whole of the body. Getting a sense that the incoming breath offers vitality, nourishment, and the outgoing breath can just release any tension or anxiety. With your next incoming breath, taking the hands into your cactus arms, so the elbows come up towards the shoulders, releasing the fingers, releasing the knees, and windshield wiping the knees side to side. Bringing some circulation into the pelvis, the breath stays full, and we start to feel the stretch along the flank of the body. Spread the toes and allow the whole of the spine to work into the twist. So as the knees lower to one direction, your gaze rolls in the opposite direction. And even allowing a little flaring of the ribs as you move. So as the knees lower to the left, for example, the right side of the body lifts up, puffs up with some of that fresh, vital breath. And then bringing the knees to point right up towards the ceiling. We're going to draw the right knee into the chest, holding on to the back of the thigh with the hands. And inhale, lift the right leg up. Spreading the toes, circling the ankle, spreading the toes, circling the other way. Make sure the shoulders are still soft and relaxed. And you're just sending your awareness, your breath into the foot, pointing and flexing. And then point the toes up for a moment and circle the whole of the leg and feel the root of the thigh bone just settling into its socket. Circling a few times one way and a few circles the other way. Just tapping into sensation here. So we'll bend the knee and place the ankle on top of the left thigh, weaving the hands behind the left thigh. Draw that left knee in towards the chest and just rock yourself a little side to side. Massaging across the sacrum, flexing both feet, and just allowing yourself to explore with the breath what's going on in the body. So as we explore, we're just observing the inner space or the inner congestion. And there's no judgment. We're just acknowledging what is present here in the body. And then we'll release that right leg, bending the right knee and planting the right foot. Inhale, send the left leg up and working into the ankle, circling, spreading the toes. Lots of crackles for me in my ankles, pointing and flexing. Nice. And then pointing the toes, just circling the whole of the leg. Once again, feeling the weight of the head of the femur bone just softening it to its socket, just spinning around, circling the other way. That nice full breath, staying connected, continuing to tether the mind into the body. Then we'll bend the knee and place the ankle on top of the right thigh. The hands go underneath that right thigh. We draw the knee in and keeping both feet flexed. Just rocking yourself side to side. And then releasing the left leg and placing the foot back onto the ground. Both knees are going to come into the chest, and with the hands on the knees, just circling the knees around, keeping the inner thighs together so they're circling at the same time, and then circling the other direction. A little massage for the back body. Nice, and then knees are into the chest. We're going to rock and roll. So draw the knees in and giving the spine a nice little massage. We're going to roll up and down, making it feel really nice. And when you're ready, gathering a little momentum, rolling to a comfortable seat. If you do have socks on, just taking a moment to remove them. We're going to roll over the shins into tabletop. Stacking the shoulders right over the wrists, hips over the knees, and take a moment to point the toes. You can have the fingers pointed straight ahead, or maybe the fingers are kind of out a little bit. Inhale, softening the belly, lift the heart, lift the chin, lift the gaze, stretch the eyes up. Exhale, pushing into the ground, feel the doming of the upper back body and the abdominals drawing in. Inhale, tilting the pelvis forward, belly softens, the gaze lifts, and exhale, rounding, pushing down into the mat. So your full balanced breath, or that ujjayi breath, is moving the body. Just a couple more rounds, that cat-cow massaging out the spine. Nice, and coming into a neutral spine, inhale, step the right foot back and take it across to the left. Take your gaze over your left shoulder, gaze back at that back foot, lengthening the breath into the whole of the right side body. Nice, as you inhale, bring the foot back in line with the hip. Exhale, draw knee to nose and step that right foot all the way forward. Inhale, lift the heart, softening the shoulders down and back. And exhale, take the hips back towards the back heel, straightening this front leg. So inhale, shifting forward, opening up across the chest, and exhale, sliding the hips back. Inhale, we're going to shift forward, lifting this time the hands up, and just opening across the heart. So you can bring a big V for victory, opening up across the chest, feeling the strength of the back body, lifting, supporting that arched spine. Feeling the openness of the heart spreading out through the wings, the hands, that energy radiating out. Another cycle of breath here. As you exhale, take the hands down, interlace the fingers behind you, really squeezing the shoulder blades together. This time, start to take the hips slightly back in space. So the hips are now stacked over that bottom knee. And with an exhalation, we're going to dive it forward. Diving forward, the knuckles reach up. And inhale to rise. So 2 more times. Exhale, diving forward. Knuckles lift up. Inhale, rise up. So there's a bit of balance as well. There's an engagement of the inner thighs for stability, but try not to clench the toes or the jaw as you move. Next inhalation lifts you up. We'll release the hands. Take the hands to frame the front foot and step back to your tabletop. Nice. Inhale, step that left foot back. Lengthening the leg, and then take that left leg across towards the right edge of the mat. And you're going to take your gaze over to the right, breathing long into the left side of the body. Just another full cycle of breath, feeling the left side of the body really absorb some of that nutrients, some of that nutritious breath, some of that vitality. And then draw the left knee, left leg back in line with the hip. Exhale, knee to nose. And step that left foot through. Inhale, softening the pelvis. Flattening the back toes if you'd like. Lift the heart, lift the gaze, stretching. Even the whole of the throat gets a nice little stretch. Exhale, hips slide back. Maybe even the left toes lift as we straighten that front leg. Inhale, rocking forward. The heart lifts, the shoulders soften, the gaze lifts. Exhale, sending the hips back. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, sliding back. You can wiggle a little, it's nice to rock. Inhale, shifting forward. And this time we're going to sweep the hands up. Big V for victory. Victory of making it to the mat, practicing a little yoga. Opening the heart. One more big inhale. Exhale, take the hands behind you, interlacing the fingers. Maybe your non-dominant interlace, the one that feels really funky. Straighten the elbows, lift the heart, really shining forward. And feel a little pressure into the ball of that front foot so the hips come right over the right knee. We'll inhale here, exhale, dive it down. A little humble variation. The knuckles rise up. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, tipping forward. Inhale, lifting up, noticing where you might be holding on to some congestion. The toes can soften. Inhale, rising up, releasing the hands. We'll frame the front foot. Step that front knee back. And just coming into the body, wiggling, rocking, circling. Maybe closing the eyes and just noticing what feels really nourishing. It might feel good to slide the hips all the way back to the heels and just lengthen the spine in a child's pose. Nice. We're going to firm down into the hands, curl the toes, pike the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And taking a moment to really pedal out your dog. So taking one heel down, bending the other knee. It feels quite nice. You can sway the hips. Keeping the spine lengthening as you press the hands down. So nice full handprints, rooting you down into the earth. Making sure that the shoulders don't feel too crunched around the ears. There's length in the neck. Here, with an inhalation, we're going to lift the right leg up and back. Exhale, take the knee towards the nose and step that right foot all the way to the top of the mat. Feet are on separate tracks. If you're feeling really stable here, you can take the hands to the hips and feel the strength of the legs supporting you. I like the hands at the hips because it just helps me keep the hips nice and level. That right hip crease is drawing slightly back, the left hip crease slightly forward and down. From here, a nice full inhalation, lifting the hands, spreading big V for victory. And exhale, bringing the hands down. Well, let's spin to the long edge of the mat, so all 10 toes facing the long edge of the mat, and just come into a little bit of wide-legged sort of speed skater. So a little bit of softness, rocking side to side, bending one knee at a time. Really nice. And we're going to take it all the way to the other side. So the left toes Spin to the short edge of the mat here on the other side. Make sure the feet are on separate tracks. You can stay low or bring the hands back to the hips, softening the shoulders down and back. Pausing for a moment just to feel the strength of the legs. And if you feel like you want to stay here, or inhale, send the hands up, opening. Another cycle of breath wherever you are. And then softening the hands down. We'll step the left foot back into our downward facing dog. Let's take a moment, inhale, lift that left leg though. That left leg would get a nice little lift and lengthen. And then exhale, back to your downward facing dog. We're going to lower the knees, slide the hips back towards the heels, and soften the head down. Coming into child's pose. If it feels better, you could have the knees really wide apart, the big toes touching, and the belly can just settle between the thighs. You can keep the hands extended or make yourself a little pillow, using one hand over the other, resting the temples. And just breathing here, 3 or 4 rounds of breath. Just feeling everything slow down. Allowing the body to receive the nourishment, the vitality. And through the out breath, just seeing where you can soften, where you can let go. And using your next inhalation, lifting through your tabletop. And just taking a comfortable seat. Crossing the shins. And softening the hands in front of the heart center. Softening the shoulders. Softening the breath. Softening the skin of the face. Sensing how it is to allow this feeling of lightness to move across the headspace. Down the length of the neck and across the shoulders. Feeling the back of the skull leaning, just slightly leaning back in space. The shoulders softening down and back as if there was a wall right behind you that was supporting the length of the spine. Feeling the breath rise and fall beneath the thumbs. And feeling your exhalations really wash down the length of the spine, down towards the sit bones. Into the hips, into the thighs and knees. And finally feeling that out breath wash all the way down into the toes. Feeling as though the whole of the body is bathed in breath. And taking a moment to connect the mind's eye into the heart center. That space beneath the thumbs, deep within, cultivating here a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the breath, for the body, for the settling of the mind. And offering gratitude towards yourself, thanking yourself for taking this time for yourself. I'm so grateful to share this practice with you. Namaste.